Chris, it's 2 weeks since we last spoke, and 2 weeks feels like months, but for people like Gordon Brown, even a day must feel like a long time. What's your reflections on things?
Well, I think the mood feels like it's moving in our direction. I think we're very optimistic about our prospects here in Thurrock. The response on the doorstep's very good. We've had people coming up to us in the streets saying they're going to bring their whole families out to support us. And I think Jackie has got a really good chance. She's been a great candidate. She's worked very hard, and I'm very optimistic for her prospects here.
But there does seem to be some issues which are the elephant in the room that's come out today, hasn't it? And that's your portfolio, is immigration, isn't it?
Well, I've been very clear in saying I think immigration is a key issue for the future of the country. We have got a portfolio of policies to try and address the issue, to bring the level of immigration down very dramatically in this country. We need to bring it back down to where it was 20 years or so ago, when migration into the UK, net migration, was in the tens of thousands each year, not the hundreds of thousands. I don't want a closed door policy, because we have international businesses working here that need to be able to move people around and about as part of the job. But the reality is we can't go on with the hundreds of thousands of people that have been coming here every year over the past decade, over the period that Labour's been in government. We need tight controls, an annual cap on the number of work permits, much tighter rules for the student visa system, language tests for spouses, and a border police force to deal with illegal immigration.
Well, we're only 100 yards from the port of Tilbury, and people think it's absolute madness that people are coming out of there and being given directions to Croydon. That's actually madness, isn't it?
Well, that's why we need proper border policing. I mean, if you look at what we have today, we've got little pockets of police around the country. There's no joined up structure, no common command, no integration with the intelligence networks that provide us with information about human trafficking, human smuggling. We've got to join this up and have a much more strategic approach to protecting our borders.
Where the hard yards in your campaign is to come down here in Tilbury.
I think this is where the election will be won or lost. Obviously, we're talking about the very swing voters that determine elections. You find them here in Tilbury. So coming here was always going to be a big part of my campaign.
I was about to say, are you finding any voters? But I think somebody just pulled up and spoke to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. To be honest, this is where you're actually finding real anger about the Labour government, because it's people in areas like this who can least afford another Labour government, because every time this increase in national insurance that's planned, it really hits their pockets. So we are finding real anger, and I think actually the Conservatives in these streets are going to be easier to get out on polling day than perhaps in some more affluent areas.
So what is your message to the people of Tilbury?
My message to people of Tilbury is the same as my message to everyone in Thurrock. We cannot afford another Labour government, and if you want to make sure that we don't have 5 more years of Gordon Brown, then they have to go out and vote for me, and make sure you do go out and use your vote.